We got a whisperer now. A whistler. Got a whistle maker. A whistler. Hi everyone, it's Bego. How are you doing? I hope you are okay. We continue with lockdown. This life, this new life. But hey, we're here to be creative, to use our time as positively as possible. And today is Wednesday, which is one of my favorite days because we talk about fashion in my channel. Do you remember on my last video we created, you remember if you watched it. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. We created a set of fashion croquis out of some photos that we kindly stole from the internet. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that set of croquis and create a look with them. And that was my phone. I'm so sorry. As I was saying, so I'm going to come up with a look and I'm going to draw it on my iPad using Procreate. And I'm going to show you just how I design my collections using my iPad. I also draw on paper sometimes. It's a combination of digital and analog. I'm going to show you how I do fabrics and how they, wrap around the body and the drape of them, etc. How that helps you to understand, how to draw fabrics on the body. And also we're going to color it. So this is going to be a two-part video. On today's video, we're going to stop at the coloring part, and on the second part, I'm actually going to show you how to, also using Procreate on your iPad, how to turn your sketches into technical drawing that then you can use for a tech pack. If you don't know what a tech pack is, it's a document where you specify all the details about your garment construction, and that will be used either for your pattern maker or your your factory or whoever's making your garments. And we will do that in the next video. We're going to go quite in detail about it. But for this one is the most fun part, in my opinion. Hello, here we are. We've got Procreate open and our croquis. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the opacity of the layer containing the croquis so it's easier to see my sketch lines. So we're gonna go here and put it down so I can still see it, but it's not gonna be disturbing. And then I'm gonna also lock this layer. That way I'm gonna, make sure that I never accidentally draw directly on this layer, because everything we're gonna do, we're gonna have it on layers on top of this one. So my first layer is gonna be my sketch, just my rough sketch. I'm gonna make a jumpsuit today. So I'm just really quickly put down some lines to kind of get the general shape of the garment. I know that I want to do like a standard collar, the classic shirt collar. It's gonna be kind of utilitarian, street weary style. And then I want to do pretty big sleeves, and I think I'm going to do raglan sleeves as well. And I'm going to have elasticated wrists and also elasticated waist. So see how, this is like the super rough sketch, right? See how I'm following the body lines? So when we did the croquis, if you remember, I mentioned you should follow the lines. Follow the lines of the body. That would be really useful when sketching on top of it. And right now, we can follow those lines and see that this one goes that way, that one goes that way. So somewhere in the middle, it would be, that kind of curvature. Then just really roughly get the general shape of the garment. I'm gonna do quite baggy trousers as well, with also elasticated ankle bands, and yeah, it's gonna be something like that. I'm probably gonna put some big pockets, big patch pockets. Then I'm gonna do the same roughly for the side. So then I'm gonna lower the opacity of my super mega rough sketch, and I'm gonna make my good layer now. You can do as many sketch layers as you need. I normally do 1 or 2 depending on the complexity of the garment, obviously. On this one, I'm pretty confident I can do it in 1 layer, so I'm also gonna lock the first sketch layer so I don't end up drawing on that one. And then I'm gonna choose a different pen. Let's do it on some, a technical pen, so I'm gonna use some inking to make sure that you guys can see it on the camera. So I'm gonna do a pretty high color, I like pretty high colors, and it's gonna have a zip, so the closure in the center of the neck is not gonna be like a normal shirt, that it will be something like that, and you would normally have your collar kind of like coming like this. In this case, it's gonna be just the center closure, so the collar would do something like this. And then when doing the sleeves, it's gonna go pretty close to the shoulder, and then I'm gonna release it because it's gonna be a pretty big sleeve, and then it will come back in where we're gonna have the elasticated wristband. To do the elastic, I'm gonna do a little wiggly line like that, and then make some lines across to indicate that that is elasticated, and this will create these pleats in the fabric. And yeah, we said we're gonna do a raglan sleeve, but first of all, I'm gonna find the center of the body. If we follow the line of the body, you can see that from the center, let's say the center of her neck is there, you kind of make a curve. You try to connect the center of the neck with the belly button, with the crotch. It creates a curve like that, so it's good to follow that shape when you're drawing. I mean, you should do that. That is where our zipper is gonna go. So it's gonna follow the curvature of the body. I'm gonna do the raglan, go down like that, and then it's gonna create some bulge of the fabric where the sleeve meets the bodice. And because we're gonna have an elasticated waistband, there's also following again the shape of the body. I'm gonna do the wiggly line. So this is it's gonna be a true waistband, so it's right on her waist, and it's gonna create some volume on the garment like that. And again, I'm gonna indicate with some lines of this kind of style like that to show that there's a volume there, right? And then the other raglan sleeve will go kind of like that. There will be some bulge there. And we do the same with following the shoulder shape pretty close to it, and then release and do the volume. And I'm going to do the trousers now. So again, they're going to have quite a bit of volume because they come from an elasticated waistband. So they're going to maybe be closer to the hips around there, but then they're going to come out. And I'm gonna also do these lines to show that it's brought in there. My zip, I'm gonna end it kind of there, but then there will be a seam that will go all the way down the crotch. And the crotch is gonna be kind of there, right? And then look how she's got a leg slightly bent out. So that would make the fabric to crease slightly, because this is a baggy garment. So there will be some kind of creasing going on in there. And then naturally there will be some creasing as well in this area, but very so slightly. And then this leg goes down pretty straight, so we're just gonna follow around the leg. Just get rid of this line, it's not very good. And go down. And I'm gonna also do elasticated ankle. And again, we simulate the volume pleats of the garment. There will also be some natural draping of the fabric that we can draw with some lines going like this. Let me remove the other layer so you can see how I made those lines going down. That's how like naturally the fabric would go. And we're also going to do that in the sleeves in a minute. And then this leg is slightly out and slightly bent, so there's going to be a different kind of movement in the fabric. It will probably create some tension from the crotch area towards the knee, and then it will go down like that, and the knee probably will touch very slightly around here at the front, so it will also create some kind of tension like that. This sleeve will probably be visible there, and then there will also be some movement of the fabric like that. And then the other sleeve will also come like that. And then the area of the chest will have some movement too. Probably go something like that and something like this. Cool. Then you can also add some details. So you could add your zipper in there if you want the zipper pull to be visible. Then you can also add some construction details if you wanted. So I've added some stylistic details. I added the kind of like the top stitching around certain areas, and now I'm gonna add the pockets. That we say we're gonna do patch pockets. Patch pockets are sewn on top of the top layer, so you just literally like top stitch it around. I'm gonna make them pretty big. I think that would be cool. Following the body like this, and then get a bit of a crease in there. And they're gonna be like that. I'm gonna indicate that they're gonna be top stitched. And then I'll follow the shape of the body, so the other one would land somewhere like that, and it would be slightly creased because we said that there's going to be this movement in the fabric, right? And go down. Cool, I think we got it. Let's do the profile. cool. I think we're pretty much there. What do you reckon? Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. So what I do in order to start adding color to the garment, I create a new layer underneath my, just clear this out a little bit. New layer underneath my lines, and I'm gonna take my selection tool, freehand, and I'm gonna select everything that is garment. Cool, now I have everything selected, so I'm gonna do color fill. And now I have a base color that I can choose any. So I want this garment to be in kind of like a, yeah, like a mustardy color. So I'm gonna choose a mustardy base just to have, it is just gonna be the base, it's not, we're gonna shade it and everything on top. But now what is done is I have this layer that is just the color and is also covering the parts of my croquis that I don't need to see. The cool thing about having a base that is covering the whole garment is that now you can do alpha lock on this layer, and that would, what it does is when you draw on it, it will only draw within the limits of the area that is already colored, which is super handy. It's good to pick a light source. So let's say you want our light source to come from here. So we know that everything on this area of the body is going to be darker in all of them. And then we're just gonna, yeah, we're just gonna be doing some shading to it. And the way I do it is I add a layer that is going to be my shading, and I'm going to set it to multiply. And I'm also going to do another layer that is going to be my light, and I'm going to set it to soft light. And I'm going to clip both layers down to my base color, so they only work on the alpha lock that I have on this layer. And what's going to happen is when I paint on the multiply layer, it's going to automatically make it darker without myself actually choosing a darker color. Let's start shading. So first I'm going to use a pretty big brush just to cover all the general areas that it would be darker naturally. And I'm going to use my lighting layer, and I'm going to choose a light color and start adding the highlights. and I'm just going back and forth, adding more and more dimension to the garment, so making the shadows darker in some areas, and it's just a question of just layering and layering until you get to a result where you're happy about it. Cool, so I'm pretty happy with that result. Procreate is really cool for like changing the base color. We can, yeah, see how the garment will look in other color variations. It's pretty fun. So yeah, all done. Our Master D color jumpsuit. So remember, on the next video we will take this sketch and turn it into a technical drawing that then we can use for our tech pack if we were gonna bring this garment into production. And I look forward to showing you the next steps. Cool, so that was it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and you know what they say in this part of the world, just click the like button and subscribe. I promised myself I wouldn't say that, but do it. Mwah. Bye.